My friends, thanks for joining us. Please do us a favor and smash that subscribe button. It helps the channel grow. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us, Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Also, check us out on Discord and Reddit, and then leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
We have mostly Winnipeg Jets Talk today. Unfortunately, they're not on the best of terms right now in their season. They're on a bit of a 6-game slide, but let's start with them anyways. Winnipeg Jets Talk brought to you by Fahrenheit Airbrushing. Stand out on the ice, pavement, or the field with a custom airbrush helmet or goalie mask. A local Manitoba business with affordable solutions for any project. Check out Fahrenheit Airbrushing on Facebook or call them at 204-891-7431.
And tell them Ray and Benny sent you.
Let's go with the week that was the Oilers, Knights, and Sens. Like, I don't know, you can start.
Well, it was a week of losses. Like you said, 6-game losing streak going on right now. First game against the Oilers, 4-3 OT loss. For them, great first period. Second period, again, another lull in that period. And the Jets have shown that over their past couple weeks that they take a break at some point in these games, and the Oilers took advantage, built a 3-1 lead. Luckily, the Jets were able to fight back and tie that back up at 3. But again, it was the overtime goal that was a lackluster, lazy play. Kyle Connor back pass that was terrible. Scheifele back check that he let his guy Hyman get through, take 2 initial shots on net, scored on the second one. Another effort for this Jets that's uneven, like a not 60-minute effort, even a 4-minute power play in that game that didn't register a shot. I don't even know how that's possible, really, when you got a 4-minute power play like that. Again, so not a good week. Trailed off next with the Vegas Knights, and a better game. The Jets were probably the better team. They just could not finish and score in that game. And the power play, again, 0 for 5 on that one, so not another good showing there by the Jets or the special teams.
What is Brad Lauer doing? The special teams are absolute trash. I swear to you, the brohood culture mentality of hanging on to your boys is ridiculous no matter what. Other than watching Mike Tomlin hold on to Matt Canada for another season, this was the absolute worst. Yeah. 1 for 22 on the power play. How is that friggin' possible? That's less than 5%. 12 for 18 on the penalty kill. 66%. It's an absolute joke. And this has been going all season long. And there's no way they're fixing it in the last few games of the year. There's no way. There's no way.
No, and like you say, it's always about the loyalty, right? They've been keeping this guy around, and this has been bad since game 1, and the Jets were good at 5-on-5 and scoring goals when they were winning. Right now they're struggling to do both. For the most part, their goals against are keeping at a league average. They're still only second in the league, or sorry, not still only, but still sitting second in the league for goals against. Sorry, can't even talk. This is too early doing this right now.
I know,
but yeah, special teams is killing them. 1 for 15 in those 3 losses, and that was one to tie the game up against the Senators, right? But yeah, I don't know. It's just like keeping Paul Maurice around for a long time, signing guys to these long-term contracts. The Jets just don't know when to cut bait, and some of the better teams realize, hey, we got enough talent. It's not working right now with this coach or that coach. Let's get rid of him and bring someone in. And it's worked. And the Jets just will not try that and will not move on or even take the duties away from him. Let someone else freaking try the power play special teams at this point, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
But playoffs, we've talked about playoffs are going to be, you're going to have minimal power plays. You're going to have to cash in on the minimal power plays that you get. You cannot be going 0 for 2 every single game and expect to win a playoff series at all.
Yeah, and your penalty kill can't be garbage.
Yeah.
Like, these are not just losses against playoff teams now. These are losses against non-playoff teams. And embarrassingly so. Didn't they lose the Ottawa game? They got tied on the power play at the end of the game. Or on a power play. Not on a power play.
They won it at the end of the game. And that was a terrible penalty by Brendan Dillon. Like, what are you doing? You're punching a guy in the face right in front of the net. You knew they were going to call that stuff. So it's undisciplined play as well. They're getting away from the structure of this team that brought them this success. And right now they are suffering. Even against Ottawa, they knew Ottawa was a good transition team, right? Mm-hmm. And they were not prepared for it. 4-on-1, given up to score the first goal for Ottawa, given up by the top line of Velarde, Scheifele, and Connor. Morrissey was also on the ice. The second goal, the guy was left alone, all in front of the net, and had time to deke out Hellebuck. Like, where are your guys? And then the winner was on the power play, leaving Brady Tkachuk alone on the side. I don't know what Nate Schmidt was doing on that play either, but it's just like mental mistakes, and they are killing the Jets, and they cannot recover from them.
Do you think they're starting to tune up Bonus?
I'm starting to, man. I'm starting to think that way because you saw him losing his mind on the bench there in that Ottawa game, and he has not lost his mind on the bench that I remember like that. Yes, he said things in the media after games and saying disappointing, that was a terrible game and all that stuff, but I've never seen him lose it like that on the bench. So I'm starting to think that either they're getting tired of playing his system, or the system is just too taxing for them to keep going over and over and playing this a solid way every game.
Yeah, I don't know if they're tuning him out. I honestly don't know what it's like behind the scenes or what's going on in these meetings or anything like that. But I do know that they're not executing the system that they played earlier on in the year. And even Bonus now, without calling a specific player out, said that these forwards, especially, are not playing within the system. They're forcing plays. He pointed, I don't know who this player out is, because I didn't see all of the highlights, but there's one player who tried to skeet through four players apparently, and Rick Bowness called that stuff out. That's very, very close to calling out a personal player by their name. So they got like, this is on them. Like the system was in place. They're playing it fine earlier in the year. Like just because they're hitting some adversity, they're not going to fight back. That's the issue again with this culture of the players on this team. There's no pushback. There's no accountability. I don't know if it's on the coach, to be honest with you. Like other than line changes, which are absolutely ridiculous, and we'll get to Pionk in a second. But in regards to them tuning the coach out, I'd say it's their confidence and them not playing within the system that's the issue than them tuning the coach out.
But on top of that, it's just like he's the one making the lines here, right? And
absolutely,
you go back and look
that's what I'm saying. He's responsible for the lines. I'm not going to let him off that for sure.
And you go back and look at the stats of Scheifele, Velarde, and Ehlers when Connor was hurt, and they were outscoring opponents. I believe it was like 15-4 that they were outscoring opponents. And then as soon as Connor got back, I know there was other injuries now, but you have the opportunity. He's finally doing it now that Ehlers is playing on that line. But it's like, put that line together. They dominated. Whereas the Scheifele with Connor line is getting dominated against, right? What is it here?
Defensively, they are horrific. They're horrible defensively.
Reading Murat, I'm going to say his name wrong again. Murat Ates? Did I say that right this time?
Murat Ates, yeah.
Murat Ates. There we go. I know I always say it wrong. In his article, he's stating Connor, Scheifele, Velarde together outscored 10-9 as a trio, but also outshot 94-69. You know, so they're getting dominated for the most part. And I don't know if Bowness was talking about one of these guys, but these guys are pressing for that offense, as it showed on that 4-on-1 goal that they gave up against Ottawa, where these guys got caught. And half the time, and Scheifele's been better at it, but most of the time, Connor is lazy getting back, and Scheifele, you know, here and there, like he plays hard most of the time, but there's the odd time where he's going to get lazy coming back, and you know, it hasn't worked. So finally, they're switching to that line, but I hope he keeps it together for at least more than just a game with Ehlers on that top line and see what they can do, because this team needs a kickstart. They need somebody to kick them in the ass. I don't know if it's Adam Lowry needs to get it going. His face-off taking on the penalty kill hasn't been very good. He hasn't scored a lot lately. I know that line puts in a lot of effort and playing hard all the time, but they need to start getting back on the score sheet as well, like they were doing earlier in the year.
Since Dustin Byfuglien left, they have not had a player who's a clear leader in regards to accountability in that room.
Yeah. And I thought Adam Lowry would be that guy this year, but I don't know. Shoot. Unless he's still learning on the job and how to do it, right? But he's been in the league for a long time now.
He should know how to do it. He should know how to do it. Peak performer of the week. I'll go with Nick Ehlers. He gets the offense going when he's on the ice. Couple of assists. He got a goal. Put him on the first line like they did in the third, and let them play for an extended amount of time with Scheifele and Velarde. But I'll take minimal offense, but I'll take Nick Ehlers.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that one as well with Nick Ehlers. I was almost going to take nobody after this performance. There's just been even Monahan missing that open net. I know he scored a couple goals in that stretch, but missing that open net late in the game against Ottawa, which could have tied the game up. It's like, oh my God, guys, like your focus just ain't there. So I'll agree with you on Ehlers and give it to him this week.
Like before the All-Star break, they were just a swarming team, line after line, just being on top of the other team. I don't know. I can't explain what's going on. It's unexplainable in my eyes.
and everything was clicking, right? 5-on-5. The power, we always said 5-on-5 is going to, or we always expected at some point 5-on-5 was going to come down, right? The goals, and the special teams would have to pick it up and play better and score for them, and it hasn't. So that's why they're ended up losing these games now. They're close and tight, even against Vegas. I mean, they were the better team. 40 shots they had, but 0 for 5 on the freaking power play, man. Like, you're not going to win very many games, and Vegas doesn't take a lot of penalties. So the Jets were goading them into penalties and taking these penalties. They still could not take advantage.
1 for 22 in this losing streak.
Is that
1
good?
for 22, man.
So that's not good, you're saying.
Oh no. Let's talk about lineups some more. Thoughts on Pionk being moved up to the top pairing?
To me, it's glaring. Like, and you go on Twitter and whatever, and it's all over. Pionk's been one of the worst defensemen on the ice in this losing streak, and even before this losing streak. So I don't know how giving him top line minutes is going to help him. I know you're putting him with maybe a better defenseman in Morrissey, but to me, I don't know what you're doing. Logan Stanley has actually played well in these last few games.
Yes.
Why not leave him in there? Throw Colin Mill in there, or bring back Sandberg into the lineup instead of Pionk. Give Pionk a rest and see what these other shifts can do. But Pionk on the top line, to me, is a mystery.
Sandberg on the second pairing tonight?
Yeah, he's with Dylan.
And that's a thing. Like, Logan Stanley, as much criticism as he's had his whole time here.
Or is DeMello on it? I can't remember now. Sorry to interrupt you.
But Logan Stanley, he's the only one who's been showing intensity, and anyone who gives an F on the ice when he's been on the ice for the past couple of games. So I have no idea why they took him out, and why did you go get this Colin Miller, a right-handed defenseman, if you don't give him an opportunity to see where his place is on this defensive core? It's ridiculous. $4 million just sitting there doing nothing? Give me a break.
Yeah. That's the thing. And one of the reasons I saw this weekend on Twitter was Pionk was playing because they don't have enough right shot defensemen. But it's like, okay, well, you got Colin Miller. Let's see what he can do in there instead of a guy who's struggling. You like to sit guys, Ehlers, Perfetti, who struggle, but at the same time, you don't apply that to everybody. So just taking a look, it's Dylan and Sandberg and DeMello together. So the two Dylans together on the second pairing, and then Brendan Dillon and Nate Schmidt on the third pairing. So see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes before I blow any criticism on that one. Let's look at the week ahead. We talked about the Kings a little bit last week. They got the Cal Flames on Thursday, and they're away on Saturday against a division rival. The Flames are the Flames. They're in lottery contention, so you'd hope the Jets would win that game. But I don't know, obviously, on their 6-game slide. And the Wild it's a dangerous game. It's a divisional game, and they really don't give a F at all, because they're out of the playoffs, aren't they? Almost mathematically.
Not mathematically, but close, pretty much.
So we'll see. The Jets are at least on a 4-game winning streak against the Wild that dates back to almost a year, last April. So they might have a chance.
Yeah, the Jets necessarily don't usually have a easy game against Calgary, even though Calgary's this far out. If it's Markstrom in net, Markstrom usually has a tough game against the Jets. But yeah, Calgary's like 3-7 in their last 10. Right, they're not playing very well. They should be an easy picking team here for a team that's trying to establish themselves for the playoffs. But at this point, I'm not banking on anything of them beating Calgary. And then the Wild, Ryan Hartman's suspended. He got suspended for throwing a stick at a ref in the vicinity of a ref or something like that. So he unfortunately won't be able to play this game on Saturday, I believe, against the Wild. So, but they're still fighting. They're still playing hard, and it's a divisional game, and the hatred between these two teams is there. So they're not going to allow the Jets to just come in and waltz into Minnesota and win this game easy. So it's going to be a tough one for the Jets, and that starts a 4-game road trip as well. So the Jets are in top. They need a win tonight. They need a winning against Calgary before this road trip starts.
They need to get into some kind of rhythm before the playoffs hit, or it's going to be a disaster.
Well, that's the thing, right? And then you're switching lines like crazy lately. Not only like the main lines, the forward lines, the defensive lines, like everything's being switched around. This close to the playoffs, it's not good. Like, you got less than 10 games here to figure this out. You don't want to be line blending into game 1 of the NHL playoffs, man. Because at that point, you're in trouble. And they're only 4 points now, or Nashville's only 4 points away from the Jets with the same amount of games played. So the Jets could easily fall back into that wild card spot and get an even tougher first round matchup than what it looks like. Never mind. They're getting a tough first round matchup no matter what here. So,
Oh gosh, we'll see what that second and fourth line can do as well. Because that
well,
third
that's the
line is
thing.
still,
Yeah.
in regards to being efficient and playing good hockey, they're still playing good hockey. But that second and fourth line have been absolutely invisible, and the first line has just been bad.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Toffoli was a game time decision, I think, tonight with an illness. So we'll see. I'm assuming he'll probably be back for these later two games in the week if he doesn't play tonight. But yeah, Niederreiter needs to score some goals. I know Appleton's been getting a couple here and there, but that third line to me also needs to chip back in, and Adam Lowry needs to get back to that dominant force and kind of carry this team. Not carry them, but just bring them to life, almost like he did in that Vegas series when he almost willed them to victory, leading the team in goal scoring in that playoff series. He needs to bring that back now and get that playoff intensity going.
Yeah, and the first line not only has to score goals, they have to stop giving up goals.
Yeah.
Your first line can't be responsible for that many goals against.
Well, and that's a problem. They're not even responsible for goals for lately either, right? I think it was, what did I see today? Scheifele, Connor, and Velarde. I know Velarde's only played a couple of them, but I don't know if it was the last 3 games or last 6 games. Or I guess the 6-game losing streak. They've only scored 1 goal, that whole trio. So that's not good when that's your top line. So hopefully Ehlers can stick on that line and they can find a little bit of chemistry again.
Yeah. After the trade line, we did ask if the Jets were Cup contenders. Has your opinion changed on that?
Yeah, I think at the time I said they were, right? And I expected them to maybe make a bit of a run. And right now, yeah, I would say hopefully they can maybe win a first round series, but I'm not expecting that anymore at this point. I think it's just going to run its course, and the Jets are not going to be making it very far.
Yeah, those forward lines too. Like, when's the last time Gustafsson played?
I think a few games ago. No, didn't he just play? No, I think he's gotten in a game in the last 6 for sure.
Man, I'll do something with those. Well, yeah. After the trade deadline, yes, I was all in almost on this team, and definitely my opinions have changed. Like, they can't even play their 5-on-5 game. Their special teams is trash, like we mentioned before. What adjustments have really been made to this team, other than those trades, which should be working? Monahan and Toffoli should be great upgrades on this team. They should have been scoring more. So, yeah, I definitely lost confidence in this 6-game losing streak. Can they get it back together? Yeah, you hope so. You hope so. The foundation is there. They built that at the beginning of the year. Can they get back to it? I don't know.
Well, yeah, and right now, Toffoli. Sorry, when I said it was Velarde, Scheifele, and Connor, I meant Toffoli instead of Velarde, that only have 1 goal in 6 games. So yeah, Toffoli's been kind of a bit of a disappointment so far. First good couple games, but he's kind of been non-existent the last little bit. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see once those playoffs hit in the next couple weeks where the Jets are at, how they do over these last 10 games, and where they end up. So we know they're making it. They need 4 points. Their magic number is 4, so they can make it tonight with a win and a St. Louis loss. I believe they would clinch, but where they end up, who knows? But you know what? A few weeks ago, I was so excited for that first round of playoffs, buying tickets and all that stuff, and I'm still looking forward to go to a game, but I'm not expecting much beyond that first round anymore.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till the second round to put some money into that. Like, this is crazy. They finally get 4 shutouts in a row, and they can't win at home.
Yeah, and you said shutouts, you meant sellouts?
Sellouts, yes. Yes. Come on. You got what you wanted finally, consecutively, and you can barely score, never mind win.
I know there's a lot of factors, but do you think that played any factor in Chipman complaining about the attendance, the players having to end up calling people, like doing a part of their job that they shouldn't be focusing on at all? Do you think that affected the players at all, that they now have to worry about attendance and moving and all that kind of stuff? Did that weigh in on them?
I hope not, because if that's what got them off track, or that's part what got them off track, then we need to blow up that core. If they're that fragile in regards to doing some extra work on the side, then the issues are bigger than the coaching. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. Now you've signed Scheifele for 8 years, Hellebuck, so that core is sticking around, right? Yeah. The leader of your team is Scheifele, basically, on the forward group, or minus the goalie kind of thing. So he needs to be able to lead this team, and it's time. He's been here. What is he? He's 30, isn't he? Or is he close to it?
Scheif?
Yeah, before 30 or at 30, whatever he is. He needs. It's time for him to lead, and it's time for him to kind of carry this team as well. You're getting paid to do it, so let's see what happens here.
cheering for the Oilers against the Blues tonight.
Yeah. At least if the Jets clinch, you get that. I mean, they shouldn't have a problem, right? Making it over the last 10 games, but at least if that's out of the way, maybe it'll help the players relax a little bit and play their game. Not relax in a bad way, but relax in a good way. So
good to see Broswell in there tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that's been an interesting
yes,
subject.
Hellebuck is your best chance to win. I get it. But he hasn't been the best goalie in the playoffs, that's for sure. And we've always been worried about his playing time, and it's getting up there again. And you know what? Maybe part of the shakeup is the team seeing that he's not there behind them, supporting them, and they have to play harder and finding another way if Broswell's in there. Like, he hasn't played since what? The 6-game streak started.
Yeah,
he's the one who started the 6-game losing streak, and he hasn't played since that first game of that. So I'm happy to see him in there.
Yeah, that's one of the things. You want to keep Hellebuck fresh, but you also have to get him now off this losing streak, off this schneid to get some momentum going into the playoffs. But I do agree, Brossoit probably should have got a game somewhere in there. Maybe not at the end of this because, like you said, it's been 5 games, and Brossoit has played well, so there's no reason not to play him. And give Hellebuck enough breaks. Like, Brossoit should be at 20 games at least to end the season. You know, Hellebuck should not play any more than, should be right around 60 or no more than that, really. So
yeah. Happy to see him playing.
Another interesting topic here in Winnipeg: the backup.
Yeah, people getting upset.
Everyone loves the backup.
Yeah, I get it. He's the best goalie in the yes, without a doubt. But still, he's human.
Yeah,
he's human. The guy. Jets fans, put your comments in the section below. Let's move on to a little bit of CFL talk. Which team has the best outlook at QB? Which QB will have an MVP season? I'm going to be a total homer here and say Zach Collaros. I just think consistency.
As MVP or best outlook? Kind of two different questions
best outlook
there, right?
And MVP. Both. No, he will take
combined.
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. Like O-line, he's great. His receiving core is pretty much back. The best receiver in the league is back. He has the best dual threat offensive weapon in the league. So he's set up for success again. So I'm going to go with Collaros on both takes. And they have Chris Streveler in regards to that QB situation. So the whole outlook for the Bombers is great on QB.
Yeah, the only one that I could with all the shit that's going on with Chad Kelly there, that's not happening this year. So the only other one that I think can challenge in this way would be Vernon Adams at a BC, because he's been growing and taking steps every year. And I expect him to make a run this year for that MVP or MOP really, award kind of. So, but if we went best outlook and all that stuff, yes, I got to go Zach Collaros, because he's still in his lineup. He's got his O-line, he's got his receivers, and like you say, he's got some good weapons. So, but Vernon Adams does too. He's got his good receivers. Hopefully they fix up that O-line a little bit better and they get a running game, because that'll make that team very interesting this year if they can. But right now, Zach Collaros, hopefully he can keep it going. 1 year older though, it gets tougher and tougher, right?
How many more years does he have left? Is he going to pull a Tom Brady? He has a second life for the Bombers. Who knows?
2005. I think that's for a lot of them is 2005, or sorry, 2025, not 2005. And that Grey Cup in Winnipeg, right?
That'll be a fun time.
That could be the end of a lot of guys if they end up winning that game.
We'll see. We'll see. Especially if they win the Grey Cup this year, they're like, yes, chasing that last one.
Oh, for sure, right?
And then Kyle Walters, you got really good work.
Yeah.
Which starting QB probably won't see the end of the season as a starter?
Are we picking the same one? I'm going with Bo Levi.
He's not picking the same one.
No, okay, yeah, he's not. Yeah, I can't say him last night. I think at some point Hamilton's going to switch to that Powell, who looked actually decent last year when he came in and played some games. So Bo Levi for me.
I'm going to say whoever ends up as a starter on Ottawa. They don't have a good team around any quarterback that's going to play there. Mazzoli, Crum, or Drew Brown. So I think whoever starts as QB on that team is definitely not going to be the starter come the end of the year. Maybe not even come Labor Day.
Yeah, that could be a crazy carousel in Ottawa, unfortunately, right? Unless Drew Brown actually hits, unless what he showed as a Bomber, he can actually get to translate over to Ottawa as well. But otherwise, yeah, it's going to be start this guy. No, start this guy. Oh, let's go back to this guy. Oh, wait, no, let's try this guy. No, I feel for Bobby Dice.
Yeah, I think what we saw from Drew Brown is mostly, he's a good quarterback for sure, but I think mostly of the team around him. They rallied around him hard, especially in that Edmonton game. Boy, did he make money off that Edmonton game. That was his bank game right there. Because even the week after that, he didn't look very, very good at all. He looked he looked average, pedestrian. So
when a team had a week to prepare for him and get ready for him and see his tendencies, he didn't look good. I know he played the last game of this year as well, right? And he didn't look too bad in there. Calgary, right? This year?
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Good luck, Drew Brown. We'll cheer for you.
I hope he does well. We hope he does well. The league needs it. The league needs these guys, right? Especially with this Chad Kelly situation going on. They need young guys to be able to come in and play this game and build this league, right?
Yeah. What a clown. Can't even touch him for MVP talk because you don't know where he's going to be.
No.
Stay offline, bro. Stay off the socials. Let's move on to quick shots. Which NHL goalie are you taking going into the playoffs?
I'm going to be a homer on this one. I'm taking my boy, Connor Hellebuyck. Yeah. I know his past playoff performances have not been the greatest, but the Jets' playoff performances haven't been the greatest. But the guy's still number one in save percentages in the league. His goals against are right up there as well. And when he's on his game, he is a solid goaltender. So I'm banking on Connor Hellebuyck this year, and I'll pick him.
I'll go with Connor Hellebuyck too. And the stat that really sold me is the goals saved above expected. He's at 28. That's 8 more than Thatcher Demko, who's in second place. So he has been the huge difference maker for the Jets. Jets wouldn't be a playoff team without Connor Hellebuyck. So Connor Hellebuyck. How long will the UFL last? Not long if they're obsessed with starting at the same time with baseball, March Madness, hockey going into the playoffs, and NFL draft time. Who scheduled that? That's stupidity. Don't do that. Start early if you have to. I know you want to be a spring league, but start earlier. Don't start in the mess of all this good stuff. So I'll give them 2 more years if they keep doing this.
Yeah, that's so true, right? Middle of March. Start middle of March before all this starts. Before March Madness gets kicking into high gear and all that other stuff. Yeah. I give it a couple years. I meant to check the attendance. I know I saw a few pitchers over the weekend and they were very sparsely attended. So I don't expect it to last very long. 2 years.
They got to figure it out. Maybe play in smaller stadiums so it looks good on TV.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Greatest WrestleMania match of all time with WrestleMania coming up.
I'm the worst at these because I'm like trying to think of matches and I can't. I know it wasn't a great match, but the Hogan Warrior match, the amp and all that stuff was good, right? It wasn't the greatest of wrestling technical and all that stuff. So I am still going to pick that because it still was so hyped up and the crowd went crazy and the changing of the belt and all that stuff. Wrestling wise, it wasn't good, but I'll still take that match.
A lot of people say Macho Steamboat, WrestleMania 3. That's a classic. Toe-to-toe, good technical and athletic match. Andre Hogan obviously changed wrestling forever. Same WrestleMania, but I'm going to go with Hart and Austin in WrestleMania 13 with Austin passing out in that no-quit match when he's in the sharpshooter. Not only was it a damn good match. Yeah, his blood. Not only was it a damn good match when they allowed blood back then. I don't know if there's blood still these days. And both of them turned heel for Bret Hart, face turn for Stone Cold, and that was amazing.
Yeah.
And Hogan Rock was pretty good too.
Yes, and that was atmosphere, right? Like the crowd was just wild on that one too, right?
Skydome.
Yeah.
And both of them said they listened to the audience on that one.
Yeah.
They never knew that they were going to do the turn in the match. They listened to the audience. That's amazing. What do you think the Chicago Bears should do with their first pick overall?
I think at this point they just got to take Caleb Williams. They probably should have traded. Well, I didn't have faith in Justin Fields, so I think at this point you couldn't have traded that pick and kept Fields. Pick Caleb Williams and go from there.
I don't think they have the proper team to have a rookie quarterback. They're just going to ruin another one. They should just pick that receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr. That guy's going to be a number 1 receiver from day one, and find a whatever serviceable QB until you can get a veteran QB, because they don't know how to foster a good rookie QB in Chicago. They're cursed, so don't do it.
Well, they got Keenan Allen now and DJ Moore, so that might help that way. I don't know how well their O-line has been fixed up at all, so we'll see. But
I don't know about Caleb Williams either. I'm not buying it.
No, I don't know about him either. And we know Chicago is usually a death knell for QBs anyways lately. Always, really, right? Horrible. Even Jim McMahon wasn't that good.
No.
he was serviceable. He did enough to not screw things up, right?
Like they went to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman.
Yeah.
Which NFL revenge game are you most looking forward to? Oh, of course, Russell Wilson against Denver. Whenever that happens, I hope Russell Wilson pounds them into the ground. Not just because I'm a Steeler fan, because I hate Sean Payton. He is a dink. So I hope Wilson smashes him into the ground. Is it in Denver? Who knows? But
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Russell Wilson because a lot of the damage that he did for the Niners over the years. But yeah, I'd like to see him also do. I love seeing Sean Payton taking that medicine and getting it back.
He's a clown.
I guess I'm going to stick with my favorite team here too and go with the Niners versus KC. 2 Super Bowl losses to KC. I think they've lost 2 or 3 regular season games now to KC in a row. So it's time to get some revenge, and maybe the Niners can get a little bit of that in the regular season, because the last time they played in the regular season, I think Kansas City won by like 20 to 30 points. And that was 2 years ago when San Francisco was actually playing very well. So yeah, Casey's just got their numbers. So I'd like to see them get a little bit of a revenge.
You might not have to worry about Rashee Rice though.
Oh good God. What are you doing, man?
Racing on a highway it doesn't matter what time of the day, and then walking away from it with possible weapons. What are you doing, man?
Yeah. Were they walking away because they were going to get caught? There's no question. They were going to get caught. You knew you were going to get caught. Yeah. So were they drunk? Alcohol, or was alcohol in the system that they wanted to get away and get that out of the system? But you're going to get caught in this day and age. You don't think people are whipping out phones? There was people recording. They didn't even know who they were, but they're still going to record.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So, these guys didn't learn, man. These guys that haven't learned of all this stuff, Henry Ruggs, all that kind of shit, right?
And they have these rookie symposiums where they have people telling them, stop being stupid. Yeah. You're in a very blessed position to be making millions of dollars playing a sport.
Yeah.
And still stupidity.
Throw it all away.
Oh, gosh. Benny, you have anything to say to our friends?
Go Jets, go. And have a good week. Thanks a lot for listening.
Yeah, I play the Kings tonight. I'm going to watch that game. I'm also going to be keeping an eye on that Edmonton-St. Louis game just to see if we can clinch that playoff spot. So, in the words of LeVar Burton, we'll see you next time. Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.